What is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're over here on the Japanese side of the game, and we're taking a look at the new treasure map STUSSY and doing a bit of a guide walkthrough for you guys, mainly for you global players when this particular event actually comes to global, as well as you Japan players that are sort of just looking for some different ideas to actually take this event down. Now, this event isn't super fresh. It has been out for almost 24 hours. I just had a lot of real life stuff going on, a lot of stuff that I've had to be dealing with. To do with work and meetings and stuff like that. So I haven't really got around to actually even playing treasure map too much, let alone actually recording a video on it. So this is like my 5th-ish run, something like that. But we will be taking a look at my teams and sort of what the bosses actually do when we are taking on this particular event. Now, the STUSSY is actually a pretty solid unit. She's got an amazing artwork, as you guys can see on the left there. Plus, the actual characters that came alongside her actually have all very, very good supports, as well as the return of having Vivi as well as, was it Perona? Yeah, it was Perona. So getting those two return on the treasure map banner was actually quite nice for some of the older players, or sorry, for some of the newer players like myself. And giving the older players a chance to actually get their hands on them as well. But the intrusion is actually against Vivi. So this is actually my 6th run, sorry. This is my sixth run. Now, the recommended characters, obviously being the treasure map boosters and the new legend Ryoiin. The big thing you need to sort of look at when it comes to this particular fight is cerebral-based units. That's the big sort of thing. And for this particular team, we are using Ryoiin, we are using the Makino and the Tashigi, as well as using the Koala. So on stage 1 of the intrusion, as always, we get our specials cooldown. I don't know why I'm bugging out here. There we go, that's better. On stage 2, though, we come up against Alvida. Now, against Alvida, she's actually going to give us a full bot of block orbs and attack down. Normally, to get around the attack down, you'd need something like the Hina, but unfortunately, I don't have her. So we are going to be using the the Koala. The Koala can remove attack down as well as give us color affinity. And then we can actually use the Vivi special to give us a full bot of orbs. Now, if you're missing Vivi, you could easily just bring someone else that can rotate block orbs. That should work absolutely fine. You don't really need the orb boost, but anyone to rotate block orbs should suffice. As long as they're cerebral or powerhouse, they should technically work. Let's be at the final stage against Vivi now. She's actually going to bind our right-hand side for 5 turns. It goes down to 2 with sockets. She rolls back our specials by 1 turn, and she gives us 10 turns of paralysis. So we can actually get around the, what's it called? The bind with Tashigi and the special rolling forward. You can actually use Makino to get around the block orbs on the previous stage as well if you really want to. And then we can actually get an attack boost with our Ryoiin unit. Once we've done that, Bob's your uncle, honky dory, we can say goodbye to Vivi, easy peasy. Even in the new world, it's not overly tricky. But that was the intrusion fight. Let's move on to the mini bosses now. Alright, so we're over here at the mini bosses now, and I have managed to skip all of them. So the first mini boss we actually come up against is our girl Makino. Now, stereotypically over on Global, when it comes to this first fight, I just tend to just bring double buggy and bring a bunch of wave clearers. Then you can use stuff like Kazuna Kid to just sort of stage clear the first 4 stages. You've got like Treasure Map Anil, and you've also got Clash Big Mom. They're really, really good units to actually take that down. But over here on Japan, we have access to a legend called Germa Sanji, the Mugiwara Straw Hat Sanji. Now, at the start of the fight, Sanji actually gives you his special. And because you run 2 Sanjis, we can actually get an attack boost and an orb boost. I need to actually fix this. I totally forgot. Now they're at the end there. I can move that up. Apologies about that. But yeah, with double Sanji, we can actually get an attack boost and an orb buff. With that, we can sort of just like tap as quickly as possible and just let them do the work for us. The 4 turns of attack, the 4 turns of orb just helps us clear those early stages very, very quickly and very, very easily. Once you do hit the final stage against Makino, the only thing you have to really worry about is Threshold. Why is my game glitching? Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on there. But once we hit the final stage against Makino, she's actually just going to put up full immunity as well as Threshold. So this is why we have Blackbeard. You can easily bring the Mugiwara Straw Hat Zoro. He's another really good option for you guys. But as you can see, as soon as you remove that, like, you don't even have to like hit perfects. You just win, basically. It's all built around in-content, too, so the side teams work really, really well. And if you have Clash Big Mom, Anil, Kid, even if they're not boosted, just bring double buggy. That way you can just get some more drops, you can get some more rewards, and it just works really, really nicely. Alright, so come on, treasure map. On to the next fight against Tashigi. Now, against Tashigi, the recommended character is the new Buggy Pirates, the one that was the One Piece Day special clash that came out alongside the Straw Hat Pirates. Now, with this particular fight, it's a bit janky because you get bind and special bind at the end, and that's why Buggy is the recommended character. The downside to actually bringing Buggy is he has to be your captain, otherwise it won't work, because the captain is the only one that actually doesn't get special blinded or blinded. Now, you can easily just bring a friend Buggy. That will work absolutely fine. And then you can run something a bit stronger. Like, you can use Marco as your captain. You can use Whitebeard as your captain. Any of those characters will suffice. But as you guys can see here, like, even with double Buggy, we are sort of making our way through this particular event very, very easily. Double Buggy, the Clash Buggy, actually also gives you the chance of duping drops as well. So that way you can actually have 2 stages, which give you extra drops. You can get more Limit Break Shards, you can get more tablets, you can get more tomes. You can get all of those nice juicy rewards that Treasure Map has to offer twice over. Once we do hit the final stage, as you can see, we get 1 turn of bind, 2 turns of special bind. And with Buggy, we can actually rotate our orbs into matching as well as remove those nasty defects. Once we've done that, we get an orb boost from Buggy as well. And we can just basically take out Tashigi. No issues whatsoever. Obviously, as when that gets harder, you are going to start needing to use specials. But just fill out the team with like anyone you like. Just as long as they can provide some sort of buff like attack, orbs, chain lock, all that sort of stuff, you will be in good stead to actually take this particular fight down. Now, I do tend to like to run these events very, very quickly, as the mini bosses, they don't hold a lot of point value, and you kind of just want to tear through them as quickly as possible. So I would try and bring some characters that can just sort of stage wipe very, very quickly and very, very easily, and you will be fine for that particular fight. Moving on to the next fight against Hina now, and the recommended characters are the Kaido as well as the Jack. Now, for this particular team, I'm running like a powerhouse sort of cerebral build with Reiju, purely because I just didn't have anywhere else to put Reiju. You could run her as your final captain, but the Vivi is actually the recommended character for that. But she is a really nice point booster, so I guess you could always run Reiju and then bring a friend Vivi. That should work absolutely fine. But for this particular fight, using double Reiju just means that we can not only clear it a little bit faster, as she has a nice chunky 5x captain ability, but it also means we can get some more points. Like I was saying before though, like the points, they don't really matter all that much. But look, it is what it is when it comes to this particular fight, as you just want to try and get through it as quickly as possible. Once we hit the final stage though, we come up against Hina. Now, Hina's actually a dex unit. She gives us 5 turns of paralysis and 2 turns of despair once the sockets all go away. We can remove the paralysis with Reiju, and then we can actually get around the despair with the Kazuna Jack, the 6+ Jack. Sorry, no, Jack actually gets rid of paralysis as well. It's the Bello Betty that can remove the despair. Bello Betty's also going to give us basically a full board of orbs here, and with that we can just easily clap this particular stage. Once Hina dies, however, though, she does come back. She comes back as a quick unit this time, and that's about it. So this is why Kaido is one of the recommended characters, because once she revives, you can use the Kaido special to literally just go burr. And see you later. Hina absolutely melts. So that was the Hina fight. Like I said, you can try and make this as quickly as possible. You can use stuff like Treasure Map Enel if you're not using him already. Stuff like Treasure Map Zoro works really, really nicely. Kazuna Kid, Colosseum Kid, all those characters to help speed farm the content. If things like Super Type Zoro are boosted, you can use his Super Typing. Same with the Super Type Snake Man, that is another option. That way you can sort of just use their Super Typings to clear, and then their specials as well. Moving on to the final mini-boss now, though, we come up against Perona. Now, against Perona, I'm using double Straw Hats. The big reason I'm using double Straw Hats is because Koala is actually the recommended character for this particular fight. And because of that, I'm actually using Koala on another fight, which means that I actually don't have access to Koala here. Now, the team that I actually had put together doesn't actually need Koala, so I could easily move her back. But because I was sort of setting up my teams and Hino's the only character I was missing, Koala fit one of the requirements of attack down removal. So for this particular team, I was just like, well, I was using Kizaru, but then I thought, hey, I'll just bring the Straw Hats, because that way I can just get around 5 turns of literally any debuff in the entire game. Now, with this particular team too, if you actually get the cooldowns at the start, you get that interrupt, you can pop the Queen special, and then that way you can use the super typings of the Straw Hat to actually clear these stages a lot quicker, which is really, really, really nice. This particular team has a lot of good synergy though, because we can not only remove the attack down with the Straw Hats, but we can turn all the unfavorable orbs on the final stage into matching. Now with Perona, she gives us 4 turns of attack down, she has 4 turns of resilience, and she has a 2 hits strength barrier. So this is why bringing as many dex units works really, really well. under the Straw Hats, they're going to be boosted. And because they are Dex, they automatically get the Strength Orb. And that way you can easily just clap Perona easy peasy. So it works quite nicely. They have super effective against Perona. The Straw Hats are super effective against all types. So as long as you can just get around that barrier, you will be absolutely fine. If you have Kizaru too, Kizaru actually has Barrier Pen, and Kizaru just absolutely melts that particular stage. You can easily use him as your captain as well to actually get your cooldowns a lot quicker. And that way you can just bring some of those like nice fast farmers. Stuff like Colosseum Kid will be your best friend there. Moving on to the final stage, now we come up against the girl STUSSY, and the recommended characters obviously being the treasure map boosters and the new Vivi. So we are bringing Vivi as our captain. If you guys don't have Vivi, maybe just bring a friend, I guess. Otherwise, you can pretty much just bring any other cerebral-based captain. Marco should work really, really well here, and then bring a friend Vivi. I imagine that should do the job very, very nicely. With this particular team, because I am missing Hina, I don't actually have access to Threshold, which is one of the big things that you actually need for this particular fight. So that's why we have the Mugiwara Straw Hat Zoro on this particular team, as he can actually get around that. Another option for you guys is the Blackbeard you saw in the first team. He's not really getting boosted under Vivi, and that's why I chose to bring the Zoro on this team, as Zoro is actually getting a buff as he is a free spirit character. But once we hit stage 4, we come up against Nami. Now against Nami, she's going to despair our captains and give us and put up 5 turns of defense up. So we can actually get around that with the Markino special. Markino's not only going to remove the defense up, she removes the despair, and she gives us a full board of recovery orbs, which is really, really nice. What we can then do is we can actually use the Tashigi special, as we really don't need 2 Tashigi specials. Make sure to use the friend captain though, because like reasons. And then finally we've got Koala special. Now as I mentioned, you can easily move Koala onto another team if you really, really want to. The one that she's recommended on. But she's quite a high point booster, and she's actually going to work quite nicely. I guess I could probably put Reiju on this team for more points, and then bring another captain for that Reiju team, which I might end up doing. But for the meantime, it doesn't matter too much. Now, the idea of this fight is there is special bind on your captains. And that's why Vivi is recommended, because Vivi can actually get around that special bind just by bringing her as a captain. Tashigi can remove the damage reduction that STUSSY puts up. And then the Zoro can remove the Threshold, which is really, really nice. And because we have an orb boost, he actually becomes an attack boost. So that actually works really, really well. But as you can see, we have enough buffs, and we can absolutely decimate this particular stage. So there you guys go. That was my walkthrough / playthrough of the new treasure map over here on the Japanese side of the game against treasure map STUSSY. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you did, make sure to go in there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later!